Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so as you guys know, I like showcasing different and interesting rank 3 7 stars and also ascended 6-star champions, especially champions that I might not necessarily think of ascending as well. And today we have one of those. We have thanks to Aaron, Immortal Abomination ascended. So we're going to take a look at how iBomb does. Now, obviously, iBomb at one given point in time was at top of the science class. And, let's be realistic about it. He has taken a step back. I still think he's extremely solid champion. I like his mechanics. I like the way he's built. The only thing you kind of wish for iBomb in general, at least for me personally, is that he would have slightly better start line damage, because he really does little damage typically until you get your first level 2 off and then start stacking poisons and so on and so forth. After that point, the fight's perfectly fine. However, obviously, the way the game currently is, and especially with how dominant Battlegrounds is as a game mode at the moment, iBomb has ended up taking a bit of a backseat. Here, we can definitely see that Winter Soldier, however, is melting. Obviously, Winter Soldier is not that much of a litmus test in the, ability to take down him in reasonable time. It's more or less Winter Soldier health pool is approaching the regular story content health pool, is I guess where we're at, which is kind of wild to think about, because Realm of Legends fights used to be these like long, massive marathons, and then for very long time, up until very recently, even Realm of Legends fights still were considered to be like double the length of an normal fight, and I guess they kind of are. But when you look at the battlegrounds and when you look at Alliance War regular fights, but it's definitely changing. So here we're gonna have Immortal Abomination in Act 8 by the looks of it, because we have weapon nodes, and with that, obviously, there will be some problems on this path, I suspect, because he's going up against Spideys, and I think, if I remember correctly, there's going to be Spider-Gwen as well. So definitely less than ideal situation there from that point of view. However, obviously, iBomb's still pummeling through it. The most gorgeous addition to the Marvel Concept Champions. If not the prettiest champion in the game, then he's definitely in the top 3. Let me know what is your top 3 lookers of MCOC. I know people will put Mojo up there for sure. Kindred also tickled some fancies recently. We have iBomb. Who else we got? Who else is exceptionally beautiful? But Mortal Abomination is kind of like the chairman of the Handsome Champion Association. And we can't forget that the Immortal Abominations are actually one of the very few champions in the game where one of our own content creators helped design the champion. And I think out of all the champions that I'm aware, Brian Grant did the best job with Immortal Abomination. Because Immortal Abomination actually, was meta champ for a very long time. Even right now, he's definitely considered to be a solid champion. And perhaps Ascension is exactly what iBomb needs in order to squeeze his way back in people's hearts with that extra damage. Kind of ironically speaking, I think iBomb would be a perfect 7-star to be added. If he was a 7-star, I think his popularity would, skyrocket, because he's one of those champions that can perform exceptionally well, even unawakened. Awakening obviously is nice, but even unawakened, he would do very well. And he does, fulfill decent roles, because he's one of the few poison champions in the game. You don't have too many champions that apply consistent poison, and poison does come with some inherent benefits, especially now that more and more champions are being introduced in the game whose regeneration rate cannot be manipulated. So, for instance, he's one of the few champions that can, successfully shut down Wolverine Weapon X healing without being like a tech champion or access to heal block. You have like Diablo and iBomb that are like wildly, that can be easily used to do that. And then obviously his access to unblockable, he can maintain Petrify up pretty much the entire fight as well. Just need to activate some level 1s now and then. And yeah, that acid burn damage. One thing that I do wish that he had some access to acid burn outside of level 3. That would make him so much more versatile. Kind of can't help but feel that iBomb's role kind of has been stolen by Scorpion in a sense. Another thing that I absolutely love about iBomb is the fact that he can be a defensive trap, right? Because if you get stuck in Balurons without somebody who is poison immune or can take the poison debuffs, it can be an extremely rough go at it. And that used to be, at early days of Balurons, one of my favorite things to do was, to trap people with iBomb on defense. And it's kind of like Human Torch Trap in a sense, except it was easier to pull off. Obviously, iBomb is not offensively as dangerous, but it still worked, right? And if iBomb would come out as a 7-star, I have no doubt that I would love to do that again. Now, whether I am at this particular moment in time prepared to max out my iBomb and ascend him, probably not. And that's what I try to do on this channel. I want to give honest reviews. I don't think there's anything wrong or bad if you love iBomb and you rank him up and you use him and you ascend him. I think that's awesome. That's great. I love seeing different champions being ascended, something interesting, something unique. There are a handful of champions that I just like more perhaps than I should. For instance, one of them would be Havoc. If Havoc was not coming out as a 7-star, there is a very, very good chance I would have ascended my Havoc because I really like the champion. I think he's very, very cool and underrated. Similar, Nova is an option for Ascension as well, but I just, need to get Hulkwing in or something before that. But definitely do love when people just kind of, go with the fact that this is a game, go with the champions that they like, and showcase them to best of their ability. And iBomb at this point definitely is, a case for that. And the biggest problem with iBomb, realistically, is not that he got that much worse, not that he's not, fast enough. It's more so that the science class is just stacked and jacked. Realistically, science class at the moment is likely the most stacked class in the game, and pretty much any new champion getting added there is a banger, right? Now we have Silk, amazing. Photon, amazing. Right? When is the last time when we got a bad science champion? I don't even remember that. So we're back at this fight, finishing off the Spider-Gwen. So we're going to see here, we're going to have the Mangog. Much of the same. Some decent numbers flowing out of that. And now we have the Doctor Doom. Is that Doctor Doom the boss? I think the Doctor Doom is the boss fight, right? The rest of these, or maybe not. Okay, so let's see how he did. iBomb was also one of the OG best Doctor Doom counters. Again, because since Science Class is as stacked and we have gotten better at fighting Doctor Doom to a point where it doesn't necessarily matter, it doesn't necessarily require to have a super specific counter. We have started using Juggernauts and Massacres and whatnot to kill Dooms. But initially, when Balagons came out, iBomb was definitely also one of the go-to options to destroy Doctor Doom, primarily because of the Petrify. And the fact that, it doesn't matter whether you crit or don't crit against Doom. You could just go for your level 2, inflict the poisons and acid burn, and have a good time. And then also, as soon as you have thrown your first level 1 in the fight, you have the Petrify active. And once that's happened, you don't even need to, quote-unquote, risk pushing him to level 2s and, messing up in a raid or something like that. You can just easily and, with a peace in your heart, bait out Doom's level 1s. He will not activate his aura, and you can just go and smash him. And also, at the same time, you can mitigate the block damage. Now that I think about it, the scoring changes for iBomb probably helped him quite a bit because of the fact that he can heal up his own, chip damage. I do think that Kabam should have given him the ability that completely shuts off the downside of having poisons on him. Because currently, as it stands, whenever you get too many stacks of poison on yourself, his healing rate is still reduced. But we have champions who don't have that issue really. So I think that's one thing that they definitely could have done with him. And now we have Star-Lord fight. Now this isn't going to be the fastest Star-Lord fight, but I-Bomb, also one more thing about him that people don't think about too much. He kind of ramps up, right? Because those auras, they stack up to 4. And once you do that, I don't think we're going to see it in this video because I kind of checked it out before. Your level 3s can do massive damage. And additionally, you just get to your acid burns much quicker, right? So he's gonna go here first for level 3, but after that I don't think I saw more level 3s for that, but he could be getting additional stacks of acid burn, dealing some insane damage, and also making it easier to maintain the auras, all your poison auras. But here we can see that as Ascended I-Bomb is, slowly but surely tearing into that Star-Lord. He actually got pushed to another level 3, which is quite unfortunate because that level 3 effect does not stack up. However, now, this is an interesting situation. Will the first 2 auras benefit from it, or just the first one? Because he still doesn't have an aura active, so he does have a bit of a slower start here. But once he gets going, he will be obviously stacking his poisons extremely fast, and he will have, acid wash on pretty much instantly as soon as it goes away. That is one more thing that I would have kind of liked about Immortal Abomination. That is, if he could keep stacking his poisons while acid burn is active, that would make him busted. That would skyrocket his damage output. I think that would be such a cool ability to have. It's kind of like we had with when Vision Arcus was bugged, where you could still keep stacking armor breaks whilst you had armor shatter active, and that enabled you to do 2 things: have 100% uptime on your armor shatter, because as one of your armor shatters was, expiring and putting in work, you were working towards the next one immediately at the same time and activating it before the previous one expired. So that, significantly increased not only his damage output, but also his utility. I think with I-Bomb, that would also have a tremendously amazing effect, because then you would pretty much spend the entire fight unblockable, and every hit you connect to your opponent would do a burst of damage, as we can see here. And yeah, that that would shoot him right up in the science class. Again, still, I mean, the fact that I-Bomb is not at the top of the science class or towards the top of the science class is just kind of a testament of how jacked that class is. In between like Scorpion, Silk, Photon, Human Torch, right, Hulk, Titania, there are just so many killers in science class. And poor I-Bomb is left fighting for the love of enthusiasts. At this point, we can see that he has poison. He has the aura active, right? By the time he finishes the second half of level 1, he's back up. Like, by the time he baits out level 1, he's back up. With 4 auras, that acid burn is up immediately. Just look at it. He does a single combo, and that's hitting the opponent's block, and the acid burns back up. It is a bit crazy there. So again, he just basically does a combo. Look at the speed of those poisons. They're really going at it. Just check it out. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 seconds. 3 seconds and your acid burns back up. Like, dude, that's a lot of poisons very fast. And obviously at this point, Star-Lord is getting absolutely annihilated. And it's kind of funny because at this point, because you're consistently unblockable almost, it kind of reminded me of fighting with a ramped up Aegon in like Necropolis, because either you're unblockable or you are about to be unblockable, which is kind of like how it goes with Aegon too. Obviously, I'm not trying to compare the champions. It's just I get that impression that it's extremely enjoyable to get that acid burn benefit all the time immediately once you get the 4 poisons active. And obviously keep in mind that he's running recall masteries, and he's still, relatively healthy. Yes, there has been some damage taken, but he's also potentially spamming slightly more special attacks than he necessarily could get away with. But still, he maintained his health quite well, and that Star-Lord went down. No single major hit, right? 27k is the biggest hit, but quite a lot of other or poison damage altogether that's adding up. 5 minutes, that's again, not the fastest time for Star-Lord, definitely not the slowest one either. Overall, as a package though, I really like extensions like this, and I do think Immortal Abomination is also an awesome character. Let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about